It's Game 4 of the ECC Softball Champions, our first elimination game here on this Friday afternoon. The number 4 NYIT Bears, 19-23 overall, 11-13 in the conference, and they will be the home team against the number 3 Stack Spartans at St. Thomas Aquinas College. For those keeping score at home, 24-20 overall this season, 14-10. What got both these teams into this contest is losses on Wednesday. NYIT fell 3-2 to LIU Post. Lewis had the 2 RBI single, accounting for the 2 runs for the Bears. Meanwhile, for the Spartans, it was a 6-5 loss in 11 innings to Bridgeport on Wednesday. Sadler had a 2 RBI double. Keaveney with a 2 RBI double in the 7th, and that is how they got their 5 runs. Let's get you our starting lineups. Starting things off here in the center circle, the freshman pitcher from Levittown, New York, number 1, Jessica Budrowitz. The rest of the starting lineup for the NYIT Bears, her battery mate in Lacerte. Sure at first, Lewis at second, who picks up, throws to first for the first out. And they work it around the horn after the first out in this contest. Again, game number 4 here at LIU Post Softball Complex. Dan Hilton here. Thanks for joining me on this Friday afternoon. It's got a little colder since game number 1. And still an overcast Friday, May day. Portugal is at short. Krasic is at third base. And then in the outfield, Tom, Bloom, and Melendez from left to right. The order for the Stack Spartans, that was Brianna Keaveney, who recorded the first out. Landolina is up to bat now. McGeehan, Sadler, Francoeur, Castro, the designated player. Sheilak, Sullivan, as Landolina fouls it out of play. Sheilak, the 7. The 8th in the order is Sullivan, and Leone is the 9. With Colleen Borum in the circle for Stack. But that's to come in the bottom of the first inning. For now, we have the freshman pitcher, again, Jessica Budrowitz from MacArthur High School, wearing that face mask as well, with her 4.09 ERA. Budrowitz strikes out Landolino, her first K of the afternoon. This is a win-or-go-home situation for both these teams. As the winner of this, at 3 o'clock, 3:30, will be meeting LIU Post, who fell in that first game, if you're just joining us, by the scoreline of 4-0. It was the Bridgeport Purple Knights' just 6th victory ever against LIU Post. This one flied out to left field to end the top of the first inning. 1, 2, 3 go down Stack, and NYIT will have their first chance at the dish here in the bottom of the first inning on the ECC network. In the field for the Stack Spartans, out in the outfield is Keaveney, Sadler, Sheilak from left to right. And then in the infield, McGeehan at third, Landolina at short, Francoeur at second, and Sullivan at first. And then the battery of Borum in the center circle, and Leone catching her. And there is an argument to be made that the senior from Mountaintop, Pennsylvania, the Crestwood product, Colleen Borum, with her 2.95 ERA, 12-9 record. She's getting the start here because their primary number 1 pitcher, and the pitcher that was just named in the ceremony between games 1 and 2 of today, to the second team, and that is the junior from Rochester, New York, in Adriana Dalal. She has been out since a regular season game against Mercy, where she was hit in the face by a comebacker. And you could see in the top of this inning, the other pitcher, Jessica Bruderwich, has the face mask on. And that's what Delal will be wearing if she's able to return. But, again, still not able to return today. When Delal had been earned to the second team recognition with her 2.03 ERA. She was 10-7 on the season. Just 2 strikeouts short of 100. First hit of the game over the head of Sheilak. And rounding second. Not going to go for 3, but plenty of emotion early here from the NYIT Bears. Via a double. By Neglia. Neglia, the designated player, starts things off here for the NYIT Bears in the bottom of the first with a double. Her .324 average. And now they try to move the runner. The bunt from Bloom. Kirsten Bloom, sophomore from Hicksville, New York. Bethpage High School product. .222 average. She'll have to swing away now. Quick 0-2 hole. A little bit low for ball 1. Now 1-2 count. Runner in scoring position. No outs here in the bottom of the first inning. NYIT Bears, even though they had a losing record on the season, they were 10-6 at home. It is a road game, but NYIT just about 5 minutes down the road, so in a sense feels like a home game just as well. Some NYIT support here. The difference between Brookville and Old Westbury, separated by less than a mile and a half. Campuses basically right across the street from one another. So this is a location that NYIT knows all too well. Smack to second base, over to first. The runner, however, has moved to third base. So Bloom has done her job. Now 1 out. Runner at third. That brings up Makia Lewis from Stockton, California. Lewis, the senior transfer from Sierra College, hitting .239 on the season with 18 RBI. Graduated from Lincoln High School and came over with Sophie Medina, the pitcher who does not get the start today, but Medina and Lewis, both born in Stockton, both went to Lincoln High School together. Sierra College, you get the pattern. Quick 3-0 to Lewis. As Borum tries to settle things down, she's got a 2.22 Ks per 7 rate. Here's Borum. That's a strike there, so now 3-1 on the batter, Lewis. There's Borum. Borum, just about a skip and a hop. Frank Kerr underneath it for the second out. Spartans got themselves in a little bit of trouble with the lead-off double to Neglia. She still stands at third base, but now they're working with 2 outs. Liesel, Portugal, makes contact on the first pitch. Out of play. Strike 1. Portugal, 341 on the season with 32 RBI. From Rosedale, New York, High School of Construction. Product, a 5'8" sophomore. Takes ball 1, now 1-1 to the sophomore Portugal. Minor still at third. NYIT trying to get their run early. Like that first game, LIU Post and Bridgeport took them a little bit of time to get going, and we still have a scoreless game, though, after 1 inning here in our game number 4. Elimination game number 1 between Stack and NYIT. So after 1 hit, no runs, and no errors, we head to the top of the second here on the ECC network.
Stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
The 4-hitter, Melissa Sadler, starts off this top of the second inning. Brudrowitz worked through a 1-2-3, top of the first. She gets a strike here on the heater. Sadler batting .286. 327 on base percentage, 484 slugging percentage. High pop fly. Portugal underneath it in foul territory, closes the glove for out number 1 on the top of the second. That brings up Caitlin Francoeur, the senior from East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Stack Spartans with only 1 all-conference player. Make that 2 playing today. DeLaw was the other one, the second teamer. Landolina and McGeehan also made the second team under head coach Kristen Sullivan's watch in her 5th season and second tour of duty as head coach of the Stack Spartans. Good contact, but easily caught right out to the center fielder Bloom for the second out. Stack making some contact now here in the second.
The designated player, number 23, Amanda Castro.
Stack still looking for their first hit of the game. I went outside for ball 1. Yeah, Stack have not been no-hit this year, but DeLaw, again, he was out injured today. She did throw the program's first no-hitter this season since 2007 against Malloy. Ruderwitz with the first strike to the batter, Castro. Here's the 1-1. Smacked into foul territory, out of play down the third base line. Now a 1-2 count on the designated player Castro. Castro, the freshman from Long Beach, California, Woodrow Wilson High School. Here's Budrowitz with the 1-2. A little bit high, 2-2 count with 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. Smacked right to the second baseman, who closes the glove for the third out of this top of the second. So we will head to the bottom of the second after no hits, no runs, no errors here on the ECC network.
You get to make a lot of different choices and become a leader, and that's what STAC has definitely helped me to do.
The environment here really helped me to develop my character, my confidence, my individuality.
I try to make my students be innovators because I try to make them think outside the box.
In classes, STAC really encourages students to work together and grow together.
There's an opportunity for everybody here.
Hope to see you soon.
Catcher number 19,
Bottom of the second inning, we've had just one hit so far through 1.5 innings. It was a leadoff double in the bottom of the first from Neglia. They got her to third, but couldn't get her home as Borum worked out of trouble. She delivers the first strike to the batter, Lacerte, the 5-hitter. And Kylie Lacerte, the catcher from Woolwich, New Jersey. And all ECC second team selection, again at that ceremony that took place between games 3 and 4, or games 1 and 2 of today. We'll get you some of the other award winners here in a bit, but in the meantime, that's a blooping single out to left field. Landolina was ranging back on it, but it got her turned around on both shoulders. And so Lacerte finds herself at first base. Second hit of the game for NYIT. First baseman, Brooke Schurer, junior from Westbury, New York, W.T. Clark High School. She bunts right back to the pitcher. Out at first, but moves the runner to second. Second time this game now that NYIT have had a runner in scoring position. They've got just one out this time around. Bringing up the right fielder, Melendez. The junior from Levittown, New York, Island Trees High School product, Samantha Melendez, with 4 home runs, 16 RBI on the season. Borum having to keep a watch on Lacerte, who has some speed. Fouled out of play. Waiting the on deck circle. Krasert's had to be on her feet. One and one count with 1 out on Melendez. Good contact by Melendez. Well, it looks like it's going to be a tag at third out of the base path. That's one way to get a second out. Now Melendez at first. Lacerte out there on the, I guess what they'll might call it a fielder's choice. I'll have to see officially what it's ruled. The 8-hitter, Krasertz. Sydney Krasertz, to be exact, from Marathon, Florida. Cienega High School down in Florida. 24 RBIs for her on the year with 2 home runs. And a bunch of hits and singles in there as well. Runner at first, 2 outs here. Borum got herself out of trouble again. 2 straight balls, however. 2-0 count to Krasserts. Borum delivers. First strike then to Krasserts. 2-1 count. Hit to third. Up with it is McGeehan over to Sullivan at first for the 3rd out. So again, it's a repeat performance from the first. After 1 hit, no runs, and no errors, we still sit scoreless, starting the top of the 3rd inning here on the ECC network.
Opportunity to me means doing the things that will make you a better future. I always dreamed of graduating from college. So being the first one in my family to graduate, it meant everything my parents sacrificed was paying off. Having an athletic scholarship for the University of Mount Olive was key for my success. That I had the opportunity to not only get an education, but be able to develop as an individual.
Alyssa Sheilak leads off the top of the 3rd inning for the Stack Spartans. Arlington High School product. The senior outfielder standing 5'8", batting .266 on the season with 9 RBI. Still waiting for her first home run. Takes strike 1. Popped up to the second baseman. Lewis underneath it for out number 1 of the top of the 3rd. The freshman pitcher, Budrowitz, playing in this elimination game, playing in the most important and significant game of her collegiate career so far. She was 4-7 on the year. That one fouled directly back into the backstop for strike number 1. Sophia Medina, as aforementioned, senior transfer coming over with Lewis from Sierra College. As well as the left-handed pitcher and Stony Brook transfer, Carissa Della Vecchia, the other options in the circle, but they went with the freshman, Budrowitz. That one fouled out of play. 2 strikes on the batter, Sullivan. Taylor Sullivan, the junior from Suffern, New York. Looking to get the Stack Spartans' first hit of the contest. She takes ball 1. Budrowitz gets her second K of the game. Sullivan goes down swinging for out number 2 in the top of the 3rd. That brings up the 9-hitter. Number 42, Amanda Leone, the senior from Milford, Connecticut, Jonathan Law High School graduate, batting only .207 on the season with 5 home runs and 21 RBI. Doesn't rely on her power. .387 slugging percentage. Takes ball 1. And the day has gotten colder, not warmer, as we've reached the middle of the day. It's getting chillier here in Brookville at the LIU Post Softball Complex. It's about 10 minutes away from NYIT, but for the Stack Spartans, they had to make a little bit of a ride down the good old Hudson River Parkway. Line that up with 495, and well, I guess you just use Google Maps nowadays. All these teams making the day trip. Again, games number 1 and 2 were on Wednesday, where both NYIT and Stack fell to LIU Post, the 1 seed, and Bridgeport, the 2 seed, respectively. But Bridgeport, with the, and you have to say it's their 6th win ever against LIU Post, with the shock upset in today's first game, means that the winner of this contest will meet LIU Post at 3:30 today in our second elimination game, this being the first, so the loser of this will head home. After the walk to Leon, Keaveney gets her second chance, a left-handed slap hitter. Keaveney did a little pitching as well. An ERA close to 5, 1-3 record. 10 RBI on the season as well. Not in that position too often, though, to pick those up. Right-handed Brudrowicz. One and one count. Smack to Portugal. And they don't need to turn the double play. Stepping on second base will do the trick and end the top of the third. There was a walk, but still, no hits, no runs, no errors for Stack as we head to the bottom of the third inning. And a chance to see those NYIT bats again here on the ECC network.
We are the ones who broke our toys, just to put them back together again. The ones who were popular the night before the big test. The ones who are into drugs, the kind that cure diseases. The curious, the inventive, the geeky, and the ones who determine our own destiny. We are NYIT, and the future is ours.
What a remarkable season it's been for Stack so far this year. Their first NCAA postseason appearance, or NCAA postseason game in 13 years. They hold, even though they're the 3 seed, they hold the number 9 rank in the East Region poll, the first rating in college history for Stack. Also their first winning season since 1997. What a turnaround it has been for the Spartans under first-year head coach Katie Apostolopoulos. Or rather, make that Kristen Sullivan in her 5th season. Rather, up that third base line in her first season for NYIT is Katie Apostolopoulos. Leading the Bears back to the ECC championship once again. But Apostolopoulos doing it for the first time. First-year head coach was formerly an assistant coach at Iona. Before that, a head coach at Cedar Crest College, an assistant coach at Kutztown, Kutztown is where Vasilopoulos also played as catcher, and she was a pretty fantastic player. Nine-hitter Tom fouls that one off, out of play down the third base line. It's a 2-1 count on Mary Tom, the senior from Tucson, Arizona, and the Pima Community College transfer. Smacks it right to the same spot. Vasilopoulos, originally from Long Island, born in Floral Park, but at the age of 2, moved to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So grew up in Pennsylvania, and that's what got her to go to one of the state schools in Pennsylvania, also a Division II school in Kutztown, right around Bloomsburg, Shippensburg area, a little north of Hershey, Pennsylvania. Again, she played catcher there. And for as good of a college career that Vasilopoulos had, she can look across to the other dugout and Kristen Sullivan, who was a Hall of Fame player at Stack, as Borum gets her first strikeout of the day. Tom goes down swinging. Neglia, who has one of the 2 NYIT hits in this game, had a double to lead off the game. Another good piece of hitting, but this time out to the center fielder, Sadler, who closes it for the second out of this bottom of the third inning. So Spartans head coach Kristen Sullivan, again, a Hall of Fame player at Stack. She was a first-team all-conference selection and all-district selection on 4 occasions. So freshman to senior year, she sweep the board. 4 no-hitters she threw, and the only perfect game in Stack history. And it has been a little bit of trial and error. Again, her 5th season on her 2nd tour of duty as head coach of the Spartans, but this has been a magical season for them. At 24-20, 14-10. They have lost 3 straight, but they've hit the ball well this season. Both these teams, oddly enough, come in with a .267 batting average. Stack hitting for a little more power, 24 home runs to 21 for the Bears, 198 runs to 183 runs, so not too much separates these two. That to the shortstop. It'll be a long throw across the diamond. Stretching out was the first baseman, Sullivan, but not in time as Neglia gets her second hit. Gets her first hit of the day. An infield single with 2 outs.
The second baseman, number 5, Makia Lewis.
Makia Lewis back up. Runner on first, 2 outs. A 1 count on the senior Lewis. That one out of play. Smacked into the equestrian stands to the right of the ballpark. And when that ball goes out to center field, you're able to see beyond the equestrian setup they have here at LIU Post. The horses were out in good effect this morning. A little cold for a jaunting ride here in May. That one off the plate. 2-2 count with 2 outs. Runner on first to Lewis. Borum taking her time. Senior pitcher, may be her first postseason of her career. But not seeing too phased by the pressure. Again, that one foul. Here's Borum in the circle with a 2-2 count. 2 outs, runner on first. See if they got her. Did she go around? They asked the first base up, and she says no. So now we've got a 3-2 count. It's a full count on Lewis with 2 outs. And that's a walk to Lewis. After all that, still 2 outs. Runners on first and second. It brings up Portugal. Highest batting average on the team at .341, and it's actually not too close. And actually the only player on any of the teams currently in the ECC Championship with an on-base percentage north of 1. She gets a piece of hitting here that goes all the way out to the wall in left field. It scores 1. Portugal with the RBI double. It's a 1-0 lead for the NYIT Bears here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. After an RBI double from Portugal all the way out to left field. So she's on second. Lewis on third. And again out to center field. This time it's Sadler underneath it for the 3rd out, but the damage is done. It was 2 hits with 1 walk, 1 run, and no errors. And we've got a 1-0 scoreline after 3 here at LIU Post Softball Complex.
Finally got me, Ben.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street crater, the mother of all potholes. For decades, it's tormented the people of this town. They try to fill it, but it always returns. Got me good.
But you know State Farm's got you, too.
You ain't nothing!
Are you trash talking a pothole?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Jim Von Iff at 718-899-8985 today.
Top of the 4th here at LIU Post Sports Softball Complex. The 2-hitter, Landalina, unable to reach base on her first at-bat, was just named a All-ECC second-teamer with her .370 average, 7 home runs, 33 RBI, .456 on-base percentage, and a .593 slugging percentage as this one foul. .02 count on Landalina. Junior 5'6" from Tolan, Connecticut. Stack Spartans doing a little bit of recruiting, that being Kristen Sullivan in Connecticut. But bringing players from all over the place. New York, New Jersey, California, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. In their fair share of everybody. Brunowitz. That one high and inside on Landalina. Didn't have time to even get the shoulder out of the way for the first ball. 1-2 count on Landalina. She stays alive here with no outs in the top of the 4th. This one fouled. Out of play. Behind home plate here. 1-2 count. Still, Landolina staying alive. And Stack trying to do anything. So far, nothing has rattled the freshman pitcher Budrowitz. He might have a 4.09 ERA, but just a 1.53 whip. And Budrowitz does much better on the second time through the order as she actually does on the first time through. But the first time through, she did pretty fantastic as well, allowing just a 1 walk to Leon. This will be the first out from the first batter of the top of the 4th inning as well. So just 1 walk allowed so far by Budrowitz. It brings up one of the other second-teamers, all ECC selection, the senior Kelsey McGeehan from Bayville, New Jersey, Donovan Catholic product. 265 average on the year for her. First pitch was a ball to McGeehan. McGeehan out to center field, coming in on it, underneath it. In plenty of time is Bloom for out number 2. Brings up Sadler again, the cleanup hitter. The freshman Budrowitz still has yet to allow a hit. Off-speed pitch. A little bit inside. Ball 1. Right-handed Sadler digs in. 1-0 pitch. That's the first hit of the game for the Spartans. Out to left for the single from Melissa Sadler. 2-out single. Means a no-hitter is done. We've got hits across the board for both teams. And only 1 run, though. It was a 1-run RBI hit. It wound up being a double for Portugal. That came in the bottom of the 3rd. Now Stack trying to answer in the top of the 4th. A little bit of an I believe that we will win chant coming from the Stack Spartans. Hard to trace exactly where that chant came from, but it is very well known with the United States women's soccer team a few years ago in their World Cup winning run, and World Cup roster just announced for that as well, as Sadler pops it up to the second baseman, and that ends the top of the 4th inning. They did get a hit, but still no runs and no errors there in the top of the 4th as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, and the NYT Bats take that 1-0 lead into that on the ECC network.
Connecticut and the metropolitan New York area to Western New York. From Washington, D.C. to Long Island. The East Coast Conference is committed to excellence in academics, athletics, and service to the community throughout the Northeast region. The East Coast Conference, a proud member of NCAA Division II.
Brooke Scherer starts off the bottom of the 4th inning. Junior from Westbury, New York. Second team all ECC selection at that ceremony prior to this game. Scherer unable to get on base in her first 4A at the plate today. Borum has allowed 4 hits to 2 doubles, 2 singles, and a walk. Did much better against the second half of the order than she did the first. Working with a 2-1 count on Sure. Nice piece of hitting in the gap between center and right. Sure, rounded first. Maybe could have gone for 2, but instead it's just a long single. 5th hit of the afternoon for NYIT.
The right fielder, number 55, Samantha Melendez.
Brings up Samantha Melendez, junior from Levittown. Here's Borum. That bunt out of play. Down the third base line, so Sure back to first, and you have a pretty good idea of what Melendez is trying to do. And NYIT willing to do whatever it takes to produce some runs. The number 55, Melendez. Only played with a number north of 24. Takes the ball here. The 1-1 count. Still no outs. Runner on first. That bunt called foul by the home plate ump. Now she's going to swing away with a 1-2 count. Still Sure on first. Again, Spartans making the trip down from Spark Hill, New York. Two. Throw to first, not in time. Try to pick off the runner. Spartans making the day trip, though, leaving in the morning. And arriving, Roberts Wesleyan and Damien, as that one hit to the shortstop. Looking to turn 2, not in time, but they get the lead runner, Sure, at second, and Melendez will be at first with 1 out. Bringing up Krasertz. The Spartans can do it in the same day, but Roberts Wesleyan and Damien, the 2 power players in the ECC who can't necessarily make a day trip out of things like this. Smack to third, over to second for the first out, and again the runner safe at first. Pretty good system the Spartans have going here in the the bottom of the 4th inning. Hit it over the second teamer, McGeehan. Make the play at second. 9-hitter Tom digs in. She swings at the first, a .314 batting average. On base percentage, .678 with her 8 RBIs. That time takes ball 1. 1-1 count on the number 9 hitter. Neglia with her leadoff double to start the game on deck. Ball number 2. Smack down the third base line, out of play. Now 2-2. 2s across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner on first. They've picked up 2 outs on second base to force out. Smacked right back to the pitcher, and Borum, no doubt about it, over to first on the easy throw for the 3rd out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. We head to the top of the 5th. It's still 1-0 NYIT after no hits, no runs, and no errors there in the bottom of the fourth inning. Here, again, this is Game 4, and it's an elimination game in the ECC Softball Championships on the ECC Network.
Stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
DP Amanda Castro leads off this top of the fifth inning. Spartans now down to 3 more half innings to continue their miraculous season where, again, they made their first postseason in 13 years. They were picked to finish last in the East Coast Conference preseason coaches poll, and they've kind of shown everybody, capturing the number 9 rank in the East Region rankings. One of only 2 teams in this tournament to have a East Region ranking. And obviously, we already saw the number 1 team there, and that was LIU Post, but they have been knocked off their early throne, if you will. They're going to be facing an elimination game for the winner of this one, which at this point would be NYIT by the slimmest of margins, but LIU Post still the number 1 team in the East Region. Budrowitz a little bit outside there, a 3-1 count now on Castro. Spartans do like to play small game, and a walk helps that as Castro gets on.
A right fielder, number 5, Alyssa Sheilak.
Alyssa Sheilak steps in. And a quick conversation going on between third baseman Krassertz and the pitcher Budrovich as we've got a pinch runner coming in. Milani Kendall, junior from Moreno Valley, California. Pinch running, coming in for Castro. So smallest of margins here. Again, they bring the pinch runner in, do the Spartans. These are situations that Kristen Sullivan has been in, whether it's, may not be her first tour of duty here, but in her second tour of duty, mind you, but it was in her first tour of duty where she was in the postseason, these kind of situations. And as promised, the Spartans keep playing small ball. The bunt gets Kendall over to second. Looks like Kristen Sullivan will make another change here, and that is this time for a pinch hitter. It's the number 10 sophomore from Hacienda Heights, California, Los Altos high school product, Elise Oleande, batting .237 on the year with 4 RBIs. Big spot for the sophomore here. With 1 out, runner on second, that being the pinch runner in Kendall. Looking for the bunt down that first baseline. Infield comes in. Strike 1. 0-1 count, 1 out here. Runner on second. A 1-0 game in favor of the team out in the field. At the center field, coming in on it. Closes the glove is Bloom for the second out. In the top of the 5th here, Spartans trying to cause a little bit of trouble here.
The catcher, number
It's Leone, who has a walk so far in this game. Now with 2 outs, she'll have to put some contact on this. With the runner, Kendall, the pinch runner, at second. Strike 1. Spartans this year were second in team steals in ECC play. Landolina and Keaveney both breaking the college record for single-season stolen bases with 15 as a stack program record. 0-1 count. That one fouled out of play behind home plate. Two outs. Don't expect any steals here. Leone just trying to make contact. Down 0-2, 2 outs, runner on second. That being the tying run on second here in the top of the 5th inning. Ruderwitz delivers. Smacks shyly to second. And a miscommunication just briefly between Schurer and Lewis, but they get the job done. And they put away the danger. So after 5 innings, make that 4.5 innings. No hits, no runs, no errors. And NYIT looking to try to add some insurance to their 1-0 lead heading into the bottom of the 5th on the ECC network.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
Neglia fouls off the first pitch here of the bottom of the 5th inning. Neglia started this game with a double. She was unable to get home that time, but set the precedent early for the NYIT Bears. Base contact on the second, and another foul here. So quick 0-2 hole for the leadoff lady in Neglia. Also a little bit of rain coming down here in Brookville. First rain of the day. That one fouled off. Still 0-2. Here's Neglia. Another foul. A little more rain now here coming down as Neglia slaps that one foul too. Staying alive here as the rain begins to fall. Bottom of the 5th inning, 0-2 count on the leadoff Neglia. NYIT nursing that 1-0 lead behind freshman pitcher Jessica Buderwitz. NYIT fell 3-2 against LIU Post. And I don't know if that says more about NYIT or the LIU Post team we saw earlier today. Well, throughout the regular season, 44 wins tell you all you need to know about the Pioneers. But now here in the postseason, LIU Post, they've scored 3 runs. They were goose-egged in that first game as Neglia stays alive. Probably the best battle we've had so far, maybe of the day, in either game. We're at pitch number 8 now between Borum and Neglia. Still no balls. Here's Borum. That's ball 1. You can hear what it means to the NYIT Bears. They love a long at-bat. Hit hard out to right field. Back at the track was Sheilak, and she gets underneath it for the first out. But it was a hard-fought first out, one they had to work for.
The center fielder, number 17, Houston Bloom.
That brings up the center fielder in Bloom. Has a single so far in this game. Bottom of the 5th inning here. 1 out, 1-0 count on Bloom. Again, rain starting to descend here in Brookville. Not too hard, just somewhere between a light and a not-so-friendly drizzle. Fouled out of play again. 2-1 count now on Bloom. Spartans down 1-0, down to their last 6 outs of their season coming up. But in the meantime, they've got to finish off this one. They get Bloom to fly out to center field to Sadler for the second out. And that brings up Lewis.
The second baseman, number 5.
Lewis, a part of how this one run in the contest was manufactured. She got a walk after the single from Bloom that brought Portugal up with runners at first and second, but Lewis can't do much with this one. She gets it to the shortstop, Landolina, who's able to throw it to Sullivan for the third out. So after that, another half inning. No hits, no runs, no errors, but NYIT still have that pivotal 1-0 lead as we head to the top of the 6th. Again, 6 more outs remaining for the Spartans to continue their season here on the ECC Network.
You get to make a lot of different choices and become a leader, and that's what Stack has definitely helped me to do.
The environment here really helped me to develop my character, my confidence, my individuality.
I try to make my students be innovators because I try to make them think outside the box.
In classes, Stack really encourages students to work together and grow together.
There's an opportunity for everybody here.
Hope to see you soon.
The temperature might be going down, but the stakes are going up, as this is Game 4 of the ECC Softball Championship. Stack Spartans number 3 and number 9 in the East region. They've got 6 more outs to make this work. Brudovic, the freshman pitcher, again, wearing that mask. Very much like who would be expected to be starting on the other side. And while Borum has only allowed 1 run on that RBI double from Portugal, smacked back to the infield for the first out here in the top of the 6th. Keaveney goes down for the 3rd time this game. That brings up the shortstop, Landolina, looking for her first hit in the game as well. Landolina hit .370 this season. It's a strike right down the middle for Landolina. That's a strike on the inside part of the plate. 0-2 quickly on Landolina with one out here in the top of the sixth. Makes soft contact down the third base line, out of play. Stays alive at 0-2. Does the junior infielder Ashley Landolina. Okay, Landolina breaking the stack record for single-season stolen bases with 15, but to pick up another stolen base, she'd have to get on base for the first time today. She might have to wait if the Spartans can extend this game because she strikes out. Budrowitz with her third K of the day. Budrowitz, more of a contact out-getter, if you will, rather than a strikeout specialist. Like, again, the other pitcher that would have started with a face mask if she had been able to come back in time in Adriana Dalal, who was injured in the regular season for the Spartans against Mercy. She was named to the second team with her 2.03 ERA. And again, Borum has only allowed the one run, basically the one pivotal hit from Portugal that has been the difference so far in this game. And Budrowitz has been pitching expertly to keep zeros across the board for the Spartans. That one high, and I think it'll be out of play. Indeed it is. On that third base line. So quickly an 0-2 count again on McGeehan, all ECC second teamer. 0-2, 2 outs, no runners. With an out here, that means the Spartans, their season would be down to their final 3 outs if NYIT can't add some more in the bottom of the sixth. Hit right to Portugal. Hit the ground first, so Portugal gets it over to first to Schur for the third out. 1-2-3 inning once more for the Lady Spartans as we head to the bottom of the sixth inning. And NYIT try to extend that 1-0 lead here on the ECC network.
We are the ones who broke our toys, just to put them back together again. The ones who were popular the night before the big test. The ones who are into drugs, the kind that cure diseases. The curious, the inventive, the geeky, and the ones who determine our own destiny. We are NYIT, and the future is ours.
Starting off this bottom of the sixth inning, the lady at the plate is the one that has been the pivotal player in this game, the one who had the hit that made the difference. It's Liesl Portugal. Picked up RBI number 33, her most important RBI of the season, as NYIT took that 1-0 lead in the bottom of the third inning. Looking to tack on some runs here. The Spartans will be down to their final 3 outs. First pitch of this bottom of the sixth is a ball from Borum, who has, again, had a pretty good day. Other than that double from Portugal, she's also allowed a double to Neglia, singles to Lacerte, Schur, and Bloom. Portugal's going to have a 2-hit day here. She rounds first, but it'll be a single. That does the job with no outs. If things stay the way they are, Pretty easy to tell who the player of the game is going to be in this one. But there is an argument to be made for the pitcher, Bruderwitz, as well, with her 3 Ks, but more importantly, keeping zeros across the board for the Stack Spartans. Portugal, though, cut in between first and second. They've got her in a pickle, and they tag her out. So some sloppy base running there, though, from the Portugal with 2 hits, the hero of the game. It was the bunt attempt from Lacerte. Lacerte missed it completely, so that put it in the hands of Leon, and Leon making the sharp play, getting it to first base and picking off Portugal. So that's why we've got 1 out instead of none, and no base runners instead of 1. 1-1 count, 1 out. That hop from Borum. Staying on it, but the error on the throw from McGeehan, Sullivan couldn't handle it. I expect it's going to be an error to the third baseman, McGeehan. After all that, a throwing error brings a runner to second.
The first baseman, number 9.
That being Lacerte.
Shearer.
Shearer had a single her last time up. She's got 1 out and a runner on second in scoring position. I have to think that second run, the way this game has gone, would loom large for NYIT. Spartans will be down to their final 3 outs coming up in the top of the 7th inning. Right back to the pitcher. Borum bobbled for a moment, but over to first for the second out. Runner moved to third, however, in Lacerte. So 2 outs, runner on third. That brings up Melendez. Melendez looking for her first hit of the game. Melendez, the 275 hitter. 16 RBI on the season, trying to make it 17. Good piece of hitting by Melendez, but that is flied easily fielded by the left fielder, Keaveney. And as we said, the Spartans down to their final 3 outs of what has been a miraculous turnaround season where they've made the NCAA postseason for the first time in 13 years. They're going to try to extend that run in the top of the 7th inning here on the ECC Network. Spartans down to their final 3 outs. It'll start with Melissa Sadler, then Caitlin Francoeur, and Amanda Castro. They'll be the 3 up, facing the freshman pitcher, Jessica Budrowitz. But, you know, the later you get in a freshman campaign, the more it feels like it's a sophomore campaign just beginning, more than it is the end of a freshman campaign. They get the lay of the land. Budrowitz having some quick words with third baseman Krassertz. One nothing to count. Here's Budrowitz. Nice piece of hitting by Sadler. That is long, and it's a home run. What a hit by Sadler. Straight away center field, right out near the American flag at the 2:20 marker. And we are tied up at 1 in the top of the 7th inning. For Sadler, her 4th home run of the year. RBI number 15. And not a bigger one. And that one right there.
The second baseman, number 17.
As we remind you, the Stack Spartans, they played 11 innings on Wednesday against Bridgeport in a 6-5 loss. This is a team with a lot of resolve and a lot of fight. And they fought here. Melissa Sadler, the hero. One count. Now on Frank Core. Pop fly to second base. Lewis underneath it for the first out. Now the question becomes, can the Spartans manufacture a second run and put NYIT on their heels?
Number 23, Amanda Castro.
Castro with a walk in this game. Incredibly for Brudrowitz, that home run by Sadler was just the second hit allowed by her in the entire game. It was just a single by McGeehan. It was the one other time that she allowed a base runner through hit. That blooped. Looks like it's going to be in play. Rather, it's going to be said, it was going to be, called foul ball down that first base line. Looked like it was looping right over the bag. I think that's a conversation that Kristen Sullivan is having with the home base ump. Oh, 2 count, 1 out on the batter, Castro. High for ball 1. 1-2 count now. Big spot for the freshman from Long Beach, California. Castro, the right-handed hitter. Chokes up on the bat and takes ball 2. 2-2 count now, 1 out. No runners. And Sadler didn't need any. Her leadoff home run to start this top of the 7th inning tied us up at 1. Out to the gap between left and center field. All the way back to the fence. And Castro's going to have to slide head first into second base for the double. There's still 1 out. And the Spartans, with this late game rally, they've tied it up and looking to take a lead with a runner in scoring position. Castro got the double, and Sheilak could be the difference maker here. Sheilak with just 9 RBI on the season. The Arlington High School product. Having some words with head coach Kristen Sullivan. We got a pinch runner as well. Castro being replaced by Valerie Winolski.
Number 21, Valerie Winolski. And now batting.
Winolski with 2 runs on the season. Her third would be a big one. We said it for the last few innings. The Spartans were going to be down to their final 3 outs. And before they even got their first of this inning, Sadler with that solo home run out to center field. Went more than 225 feet. Winolski's got some speed, and one of the very first times with one out, you have something to play with, and Winalski, one of the very few players that has taken any liberties here on the base pass. Have to be a little judicial, though. This one a ball a little bit high. 1-1. One out, runner on second. That would be, at this point, the go-ahead run. See if NYIT have an answer in the bottom of the seventh, but before we get to that point, still one out here. 1-1 count to Sheilak. Contact, Sheilak. Portugal looks off the runner over to first for out number 2. That brings up Taylor Sullivan from Suffern, New York. And Taylor Sullivan, if that last name sounds familiar throughout this game, that is daughter of head coach Kristen Sullivan. So it is an interesting dynamic to see. She just had a quick look, no words exchanged between mother and daughter, but in this instance, it's coach and player. Sullivan, it's a blooper out to center field. Coming home is the pinch runner, sliding at home plate, touches it with her left hand, and it's going to be a double for Sullivan. Go-ahead run scored by the pinch runner, Winalski, and the Spartans have a 2-1 lead here in the top of the 7th inning. What a rally by the number 9 team in the East region with their backs against the wall, an elimination game. We're going to see if NYIT can answer here. Looks like we've got another pinch hitter here. It'll be the number 22, Sarah Williams, to pinch hit for Leon. What a big moment. Again, and it was an odd setup the way it worked, that every batter that had come up for the last 3 innings, head coach Kristen Sullivan went over, had a few quick words, and usually it was either to put in a pinch runner or a pinch hitter, whatever it was have you. Again, head coach Sullivan kept having words with the players. But then her, again, daughter and player in Taylor comes up. It was a quick shot of eyes. They lock eyes. And then Taylor Sullivan gets the go-ahead bloop single into shallow center field. And terrific base running there by Winalski, who was shot out of a cannon the minute that that ball made contact with that bat. That gave the Spartans a 2-1 lead. This one fouled out of play down the third baseline. Late drama here at LIU Post Softball Complex. Ruderwitz. A little bit outside there. 2-1 count on the batter. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Pinch hitter Williams. Freshman from New Hyde Park, New York, St. Francis Prep product. Portugal dives to it, gets to it, ranges over to first base in time. First base ump calls her safe. So now we've got runners at first and third. Still 2 outs. And we get the top of the order once again. It's been the bottom of the order, pinch hitters, pinch runners, that have been the heroes so far. For the Spartans, Keavney, Landolina have yet to get on the board through hits. McGeehan has a single, and it's a cleanup hitter, Sadler, who got the home run to start this inning, tying things up. Freshman Buderwitz's day is done. She is replaced by the number 13, Carissa Delaviccia, from Wappingers Falls, New York, the sophomore transfer from Stony Brook. We've got a good look here at the play of the game. Here in an elimination game, Taylor Sullivan gets that double out into shallow center. And again, fantastic base running by the pinch runner. Valerie Winolski got that left hand. I think she had the catcher beat anyway in the foot race, but got that left hand on home plate. The official score is a single on that RBI. Move to second on the throw. Two outs, runners on first and second. Della Vecchia. Left-handed pitcher, the first we've seen of the day, to the leadoff hitter in Keaveney. Well, not leadoff in this inning. Leadoff hitter in this inning was Melissa Sadler, who hit a solo home run about 225, 230 feet out to dead center field. Pass ball. We'll have a play at home plate. Sliding in safely is Sullivan. Spartans tack on another. They've got the 3-1 lead here in the top of the seventh inning. All of their runs coming here in the top of the seventh. They only had 2 hits this entire game coming into this seventh inning. NYIT will have one more chance, though, to make up these 2 runs. Unless the Spartans continue to add more. They've got a runner on second. That being the pinch runner in Nicolette McDonald. Keaveney, 2-2 count. Slapped out of play down the first base line. Staying alive is the senior from New City, New York, Clarkstown South product. Left-handed hitter Keaveney. 2-2 count, 2 outs, and on second. Fouled out of play again. The left-handed pitcher, Della Vecchia, takes a step out of the circle, composing herself here. Again, the temperature dropped about 10 degrees throughout the duration of this game. Again, fouled back out of play on the backstop. We'll do it all again. 2-2 count, 2 outs, runner on second. And we'll have to do it one more time, as that one again slapped out of play behind home plate. Keaveney making Della Vecchia work for it. More of the same. Keaveney stays alive. One of the calling cards for the Stack Spartans, again, who were picked to finish last in the ECC preseason coaches poll. They have had a blend of timely hitting, in the words of Kristen Sullivan, all season long. And they're getting just that. That one blooped into right field. Runners back on first and third. A 2-out hit. Her first of the game for Keaveney. And now the Spartans really starting to see the ball well. They've almost gone around the whole order. We've got 2 more in Landolina and McGeehan. McGeehan looking for her first hit of the day. Runners on first and third. Gets a feeling with each passing batter that NYIT, they might only be down by 2 runs, but it does take a little bit of the wind out of your sails. Spartans continue to fight and chip away all game long at the freshman pitcher Bruderwitz, who in a 3-strikeout performance went 6 1/3 innings, kept it down, and did pretty well in her first postseason. Landolina takes strike 1. 1-1 count on the junior. And that one right back in front of us. You could hear that one smack off the fence in front of the press box. Now Landolina looking at a 1-2. It'll be 2-2. That one a little high. Umpire confirms it's a 2-2 count. 2 outs, runners on first and third. This one smacked foul down the third base line. Spartans have scored 201 runs so far this season, and run number 200 is looking like their biggest of the year, as it's the go-ahead run in this game so far. Scored by the pinch runner Winolski on the RBI single from Taylor Sullivan. Landolina stays alive. Here in the top of the 7th inning, and while that third game was projected between LIU Post and the winner of this one to start at 3:30, that one might get pushed back a little bit as Portugal up with it over to first for the out. What an inning that was for the Stack Spartans. 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 error as we head to the bottom of the 7th. This time, it's the NYIT Bears down to their final 3 outs of their season here in the ECC Softball Championship on the ECC Network.
Opportunity to me means doing the things that will make you a better future. I always dreamed of graduating from college. So being the first one in my family to graduate, it meant everything my parents sacrificed was paying off. Having an athletic scholarship for the University of Mount Olive was key for my success. I had the opportunity to not only get an education, but be able to develop as an individual.
NYIT now down to their final 3 outs of their 2019 campaign. They start with Krasertz, then it could be Tom, and then they get to the back. They get to the start of the order with Neglia. Looks like we will have a pinch hitter, however. Staying on it and getting the first out at first base was Frank Hoare. We do have a pinch hitter here. Coming in for Tom is the freshman and twin sister of the starting pitcher, Jessica Bruderwitz. This is Ashley Bruderwitz, field player, just like her sister. MacArthur High School product from Levittown, New York, batting .262 on the season with 7 RBI, no home runs, but she's just trying to make contact and get on base to be bring up the tying run to the plate.
Now pinch hitting for the NYIT Bears, number 2, Ashley Boudrowitz.
The way this tournament format built, if the Spartans can hold on here and get 2 more outs, they won't have long to celebrate. They'll have just about an hour and change before they meet the number 1 team in the East region and a team that had a shock upset loss to Bridgeport earlier this morning. You can think that LIU Post has taken about the last 2.5 hours to refocus and recenter things. And they are going to come out swinging. And so that second elimination game of the day, as we've got a 1-2 count on Ashley Buderwitz. And this is elimination game number 1 for this tournament. Elimination game number 2 comes up around 3:30. That ball a little low. And then we'll be back here again tomorrow for the championship. What could be 1 game, or what could come down to 2. It's 1 game. It's Bridgeport win, as they have locked their place in the championship game with a 4-0 victory over LIU Post this morning. But again, if they fall, as that one fouled behind home plate. But if Bridgeport fall in game 1 tomorrow, then it'll be a winner-take-all 2 games tomorrow. Payoff pitch from Borum. Hit to the second baseman. Just like the first out, the second, the same. Francoeur to Sullivan. NYIT Bears, 19-23 overall, 11-13 in the conference, down to their final at-bat. It's Stephanie Neglia, the designated player. Has a double in this game. Also had a 10-pitch at-bat in her last attempt. Makes contact here, fouled up the first base line. 0-1 count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. I mentioned one of the big storylines. It was Adriana Dalal, the regular pitcher, the second-team ECC selection, not unable to perform here in the postseason due to an injury. And in Dalal's stead came Colleen Borum, the senior pitcher from Mountaintop, Pennsylvania. A little high there. 1-2 count on Neglia with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Again, trying to lock in a spot in our game at 3:30. That one low, so 2-2. And Borum gives a smile and an apology to the catcher, Leone. Sometimes that last strike is the hardest. NYIT Bears still down to their final strike of their 2019 ECC softball campaign. Make it one more. It's 3-2. So we'll have a full count payoff pitch with 2 outs to leadoff hitter Neglia. Tying run is in the circle. Neglia out to right field. Underneath it is Sheilak. Closes the glove, and the Spartans, with a miraculous come-from-behind victory, they score 3 runs in the top of the 7th inning to win this one 3-1. NYIT held on all game with that bottom of the 3rd run. What a story the Lady Spartans have been this season, and what a story they continue to be. As you stick around for just about an hour and change, and we will have game number 5. It'll be the final game of this triple header. but it will decide who will meet Bridgeport tomorrow in the championship game. It's the number 1 team in the East region, LIU Post, against the number 9 team in the East region in the Stack Lady Spartans. Plenty of heroes that we'll talk about in the later game, as we'll step aside now and be back as we'll clean things up here. Again, it's LIU Post against Spartans as the number 4 seed NYIT, the first eliminated in this 2019 ECC Softball Championship on the ECC Network.